So I've created a little document, our Khalsa story. Briefly recap how in 1699, the 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh, called for 5 heads. God, which represented through the sword, wanted 5 heads. And he's just following something that Guru Nanak had already said some hundreds of years before. If you want to walk on this path of love, put your head in your hands and make an offering, and never mind what anybody has to say about it. So Guru Gobind Singh took that literally and asked for 5 Sikhs to give their heads. And 5 came forward in that sense of, I've already given my head. I don't have to think twice about it. They gave their heads, they gave their life to the Guru, and they became known as Panch Pyari, the 5 beloved ones. This collective identity of the baptized or initiated Sikhs, also called Amritdhari Sikhs, became known as a Khalsa Panth. Panth means nation, in a way. So we'll explore a little bit more the implications of that. Khalsa Panth, Khalsa nation. Okay. I wanted to add this little image here just to highlight Mother of the Khalsa. She came along and she brought some good, some natural raw cane sugar to add to this new. It was not only this topic of asking for heads, but changing the nature of the initiation, you could say. That it was called Charan Paho. We'll mention that term later again. Charan meaning feet. So the Guru's feet would be put in the water or just the toe, and the disciple would drink that water while getting the recitation of some mantra, and that would be like an acceptance of the discipleship between the Guru and the Chela, the disciple. So the Guru has changed that completely. He's taken an iron ball, he's put water in there, he's got the sword, so the iron, energy of the steel or the iron, and he's chanting 5 Shabads in there, Japchi, Japsab, Chope, Nansab, and Suraya. And Mother comes along and puts this sugar in there to keep it a little bit sweet, not only the warrior energy of the sword, but also some sweetness and feminine sweetness, we might say. So just without the mother, she's called Mata Sahib, she's the mother of the Khalsa. So just to remember her, without her, this would not have taken place. So from that day, we have this phrase, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. And this became part of the Sikh salutation. I've called the document Khalsa Consciousness, and we will discuss a little bit the meaning. At the same time, I want to highlight that the term that has been used since this time of Guru Gobind Singh was Khalsa nation. So it's not just about a state of consciousness, it's about a body of people as well. Just want to clarify that. So yes, it became part of the Sikh greeting or salutation at the beginning or end of events or in greeting each other. It's an adjective, not a noun. So it's many times people translate Vaheguru as God. It's maybe we could say one of the many names or exclamations or descriptions of God. It is not like a literal translation, Vaheguru is God. This is not actually correct. It's an adjective, it's a description of something. So Vaheguru, Khalsa belongs to that state of Vaheguru, not to an object of Vaheguru. It's important to understand that. It's not implying ownership. Vaheguru doesn't own Khalsa. It's rather to say Khalsa is Vaheguru state, and victory comes also from that state. Okay. And so many of you know, we practice this mantra often, Ang Sang Vaheguru. So every cell moving into that state of consciousness. It's already the case, actually, every cell already vibrates in that state. We're just not sensitive to it. Our mind and their mind field kind of distorts or filters our awareness around that. It's already a given, actually. So by practicing the mantra, we're remembering, we're coming back to what is already the case, our original state. However, the term Khalsa was in existence long before that, actually. It comes from Farsi, Arabic, Persian term, Khalis, several meanings, unsullied, like this is where the term pure comes from. We'll say more about that later as well. But meaning also belonging directly to the sovereigns. It was a piece of land that belonged to the emperor. And nobody could use it without permission. Anybody who did use it, they didn't have to pay taxes to anybody. There was no government, middleman, priest, anybody else. You were directly connected to the emperor itself. So this is kind of connection of, so the Khalsa nation belongs to the sovereign, the emperor, meaning not the worldly emperor, but God. Khalsa belongs to, and doesn't belong to anybody else, and therefore is not taxed. Okay, so if we read other Shabbos from Guru Gobind Singh, we get a very clear sense of this unalloyed meaning. So Khalsa also has this meaning of unalloyed. This translates into pure. It's not a literal translation, actually. And the example is given with iron. So I have this iron kara on my wrist. It's one of the 5 things a Sikh will wear when he takes the Amrit, or she. And if you mix this iron with carbon, you get a very useful product called steel. But you'll notice that the magnetism is taken out of it. So it's lost some of its qualities. It's just connected to the idea, I am a spirit, I'm having a human experience, but I'm not of the earth. I have a body given by Earth, Mother Earth, but that's not my identity. It's not where I come from. It's not who I am. So although I walk upon the earth, treated with respect and wisdom and so on, but I don't identify as being of the earth. This is the meaning of Khalsa. My alignment is to the sovereign, one creator who has created the creation. I enjoy the gifts of the creation, but I remember the giver of the gifts. And that's who I belong to. Okay. I'm going to improve the lighting for the screen in a moment. I think you'll see it better. Okay, so we've mentioned that here. Yeah? Belong to the land that was given to holders who paid tribute to the emperor. The land of the emperor. What Guru Gobind Singh has taken that term and applied it to the Khalsa nation, free individuals who are free from all forms of subservience to anyone other than God. Okay. And that could link to hukam. Khalsa is one who's directly under the hukam of God, not needing mediation by a priest or manager or something of that nature. And then again, another correlation here. In times of crisis, emergency, or war or conflict, the emperor could reclaim the land for any purpose needed according to the circumstances. So this is a similar thing, that if the Guru calls you, you don't hesitate. So that test that Guru Gobind Singh did, coming out on the platform on the Baisakhi day with sword in hand, God needs a head. So it's like the emperor is calling. Yeah. And who is ready? Who is there to say, yes, it was already yours? There was no discussion. Yeah. Okay, so then we have the term Khalistan. You might have heard of this term. It's a political movement, really, of people in the north of India, in the Punjab region, which is now, we call East Punjab, as West Punjab became Pakistan. And they are wanting to claim that land, that region, as Khalistan, land belonging to the Khalsa. So using that old meaning of the term, this is our land, it doesn't belong to anybody else, and we do what we want to do with it. It's a land that's inhabited, however, by Sikhs, Hindus, and Muslims, and Christians, and other people. And another meaning, which I would prefer to emphasize, anybody who's living in Khalsa consciousness, that land where you stand on at that moment is Khalistan. That's another meaning of Khalistan. Khalsa comes in the Guru Granth Sahib only one time. It's a Shabad by Kabir here, and the death has fallen on the whole world, and the doubting religious scholars, the Brahmgyani, they are in a state of doubt, and they are even also listed on the register of death. Kabir says, those humble beings, this is the meaning of Jan, the humble beings, they become Khalsa, Khalse, those who know God, this is Bhagat Jai Jani, those who are knowing God through loving devotional worship. So this is already telling us Khalsa belongs to God. It's the only line in the whole of Guru Granth Sahib. But that was referred to by the other gurus, and I still have to research more details about that. Guru Hargobind. A Hukamnama is when the guru would write a letter with some instruction, and that would be sent out to some members of the community, maybe in another state somewhere in India. So he would refer to them as Guru Ka Khalsa, the Khalsa of the Guru. So this idea that there already was there, that there was a nation of people who belonged to the Guru and who were referred to as Khalsa. And this is the one I still have to check the address of Guru Tegh Bahadur also to another Sangat in Patna, and he also referred to them as Khalsa. So it was already a familiar term in the community. So we can ask many questions, not easy to answer. Who is Khalsa? What is their qualities? How do they live? Why is it relevant for us to consider? And in the conclusion, of course, Guru Gobind Singh being the one who really initiated very explicitly the Khalsa nation, then what is the Guru's description of Khalsa? Some of what I'm sharing with you, just my own reflections here. So just giving some pointers, some directions. In the Shabad Guru, we get a lot of occurrences or references to the Gurumukh, the one who turns to the Guru, who speaks as the Guru guides them to speak. So I would say that's giving quite a lot of clarity as to what is Khalsa consciousness. Then we also have in Sukhmani, a long passage, one Ashtapadi, so 8 pauris, of the Brahm Gyani. What is the nature of the one who knows Brahm? And I think it also gives a very thorough description of the Khalsa consciousness. Then you also have the soul bride, many, many references to the individual as the soul bride and God as the husband. So again, implying there's one allegiance, there's one communion happening. Another personal reflection here. The Khalsa consciousness implied in the Shabad Guru through the Mool Mantra. Mool Mantra is not only a description of the God, of one creator, but also becomes a description of the qualities and principles for us to align to and embody. It outlines the unfolding of Sikh Dharam, implying, well, I'll show you the chart in a moment, through the lives, how the Sikh Dharma unfolded over the time of the successive Gurus. It provides us with the beej, the essence and the backbone of Khalsa consciousness. So a little chart I've made, we can start at the bottom of here. Ek, one, Guru Nanak. In our yoga terminology, we refer that to the soul body and the virtue of humility. Ang, Guru Angad, the extension into the creation, a negative mind, and the obedience and the loyalty. So the second Guru was staying in that alignment and allegiance of Guru Nanak's teaching. God, Guru Amar Das, who fed the untouchables, the lepers, and this kind of thing. So seeing God in all and the virtue of equality and affirmation of the positive mind. Satanam, Guru Ram Das, he gave that Shabad, the Japaman, Satanam, Sada Satanam, one of several sources where we find in Kundalini Yoga that we do that practice of inhale Sat, exhale Nam, breath by breath. Neutral mind and the virtue of service. Karta Purak, Guru Arjan, the merging of being and doing, creative spirit. Physical body as a spiritual body, not just a body of blood and flesh and bones. And Guru Arjan, we know, would rather give his life than change the words that had been already given by the gurus. So again, that sense of allegiance. I'm not beholding. The emperor wants me material. Yeah, the emperor of Maya is asking Guru Arjan to change the text, and he's saying, I can't do that. And he would rather give his life than change the text. So there's already Khalsa allegiance already implied there. Nirbhav, no fear, Guru Hargobind, the beginning of the need to defend the community, the arc line, your first line of defense in some way, and the theme of justice. Nirvair, no revenge, no enemy, therefore forgiveness. The seventh Guru, Guru Harai, and this is your magnetic field. Guru Har Krishan, Akal Murat, infinite, representing the infinite, not representing something finite. Murat implies representation, yeah? So you evolve to not represent just your small world, your little corner, your whatever prejudices or worldly allegiances you have, but you actually represent the infinite one. Guru Har Krishan, undying and timeless, your pranic body, compassion and purity. Ninth Guru, Ajuni, this is the subtle body. We are born from the subtle body, but the subtle body doesn't take birth. This is the meaning, Ajuni, beyond the womb, unborn. And the virtue of patience and peace. And the ninth Guru had that quality of stamina and endurance and inner resilience that even though he was led to the execution block, even though he had to witness his own disciples being tortured and martyred in front of him, he maintained his calm. And then this story was accounted to his son, who became Guru Gobind Singh, and he was determined from this point to stand for the truth, for the justice, and bring about a new nation, a new being, in a way, what we also call in Kundalini Yoga the possible human. Sebang, again, very much implied Khalsa, that self-existing, not beholding to any other. So it's already implied right from the beginning. Yeah, there's different language being used, but Sebang is Khalsa consciousness in some way. Self-illumined, self-existing, and radiant body, royal courage. Guru Prasad, it doesn't relate to one of the spiritual bodies, but it's a state of alignment of the individual soul and the universal soul. The 11th Guru became the Guru Prasad, Sri Guru Granth Sahib, and that's the entire Guru Granth Sahib, we could say, the Shabad Guru expresses Khalsa consciousness, in fact. Okay, jap is each and every one of us to repeat, to become and embody that. So just laying down that foundation there of the Mool Mantra as a base for understanding Khalsa consciousness. We can continue with different parallels. I think in the Japji is interesting how it ends with this Jini Naam Dhyaya, who meditates on the Naam, Gay Mashakatagal, with effort and investment, Nanak te mukh ujjale, they will be in that radiant state. So number 10, radiant body. Keti chuti, now they take others with them. So that, again, state of Khalsa is implied at the end of the Japji. Different parallels we can find in Khalsa as a 3-in-1, animal, human, angel, individual consciousness, Sangad, and universal consciousness. I repeated that down here. I think it's quite interesting, this image we often see of Guru Gobind Singh, the animal, the horse, the human, the rider, and the falcon or the eagle, representing the angel and that higher altitude of awareness. In our own inner space, we have our nabi, our breath, and our mantra. Our dharma is our nabi is our dharma, sangat is my breath, and my breath is my sangat. And my mantra is my guru. This is the Vaheguru implied, and guru is my mantra. And Guru Nanak also gave that in very early days again, giving these 3 guidelines for conscious living, honest labor, sharing the benefits of what you get from your labor with others around you, those in need, charity, and Nam Simran meditation. We can describe Khalsa as the Panch Pyari. Somebody can help me here. I've got 4 names. I need another name. These are the names of the 5 who gave their head. Dharam Singh, Mohkam Singh, Sahib Singh, Himmat Singh. Maybe somebody writes it in the chat there. One who becomes a master of the 5 elements and the 5 senses. Daya. Daya, thank you.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you. Daya Singh. So these are qualities that, bringing those qualities together, produces also that Khalsa consciousness. Dharam is Dharma, living the Dharma. Mohkam implies liberation. Sahib is mastery. Himmat is the courage. And Daya, the compassion and mercy. So transforming the 5 passions, the 5 thieves, which are stealing our energy, our prana, and bringing them into service of your spirit. You'll find other references to 5. Panch Puravan is in the Japji there, and the Panch Shabad. So Khalsa has 5-in-1. Khalsa has 7-in-1, one who climbs the ladder of the 7 steps to happiness, who merges the 7 colors of the creation into the light that illuminates all the colors. Khalsa has 10-in-1, 10 spiritual bodies. Very important to, we've already gone through the momentum, the 10 bodies, so I won't go in detail there. Shava Guru is not an intermediary, it's not a priest, it's not something standing like a middle person between the individual and God. It's a guide, it's an altar. In that sense, I salute it. It's an anchor, it's a reference to tie my mind down. We say, Manjite Jagaji, conquer your mind, not kill the mind, not destroy, not eliminate, but conquer it so that it can be of service to you. Align your mind to a higher consciousness. So Shava Guru becomes a voice of your higher consciousness. Giving my head to the Guru is so that I may think as the Guru thinks, see as the Guru sees. And we can move on. Khalsa as Brahm Gyani. We'll see how the time goes and which questions come up and comments. And I have that reference here that we can read into later. Khalsa as Gurumukh. So just a few references. The Gurumukh trained their mind to contemplate the soul of Ram. And this connection of purity is here. So this is interesting. Nirmal is the word for purity. Mal is like a malady, something wrong. And Nirmal is without the malady. So this is the word pure. So the Gurumukh meditates on Nam. This is the purification, cleaning out self-interest and conceit, pure inwardly and outwardly. So you might have heard the expression, cleanliness is next to godliness. So clean on the outside, clean on the inside. They merge into the truest of the true. Such. Okay. Interesting line here. This is again the Mukh Ujjale. The faces of the Guru Mukh are radiant. They reflect on the word of the Shabad. And the three qualities hold the people to the Maya. This is Tama, Raja, and Sattva Guna. And the Guru Mukh obtains to the fourth state, Chota Pad. Okay. They are the happy soul brides, so that connection, the Guru Mukh and the soul bride is one and the same. Like God's tree, blessed with sublime love of the true one. Mm-hmm. And Guru Mukh saves millions of people, of siblings of destiny, blessing them with even a particle of the Naam. There's another line I recall. The Guru Mukh walks in the world sowing seeds of Naam. So it's not preaching, it's really by example, by the quality of your service. It's not by knocking on people's doors or trying to convince or preach anything to anybody. Mm-hmm. Here, the Guru Mukh meets the Lord and inspires others too. Yeah, but because of that meeting, not because they're on some mission to do so. So we come to Guru Gobind Singh, and we'll find references in the Dasam Granth and in the Sarab Law Granth. And some of this will be a little bit tidied up. This is, I believe, this one, Khalsa Mahima, is from the Sarab Law Granth. So these are scriptures independent of the Guru Granth Sahib, which Guru Gobind Singh wrote. Dasam Granth means the Granth of the 10th Guru. Sarab Law, Sarab means all, and Law means iron. So all iron, Granth, the scripture that has this quality, iron quality to it. Some quick references. Guru Gobind Singh is saying, Khalsa, Meri Jaan ki Jaan, the life of my life. Khalsa Akal Purkh ki Fauj. Akal Purkh, you know that term maybe, the army of the Akal Purkh, of the timeless one. Khalsa has manifested by God's will. So he's not claiming either, I created Khalsa. He's saying it's God's will has brought this about. Khalsa is my very form, Rup, and in whom I reside. Nivas is like a home or a house in some way. Khalsa is my house. So here we are. This is Khalsa Mahima, praise of the Khalsa, in the Sarab Law Granth. Khalsa is my true form. Within the Khalsa, I abide. Khalsa is my main support. I'm always with the Khalsa. My Khalsa is dear and sincere. My Khalsa is renowned and has fame. Khalsa is my ancestry and my future, my past and my future. Khalsa brings joy and happiness. Khalsa is my real friend. Khalsa is my mother and father and giver of pleasure. If we become a baptized Sikh, we take the Amrit. In a way, we are moving away from attachment to our worldly mother and father. It doesn't mean disrespecting. It doesn't mean in any way denying their existence, that they've given us physical birth, but it's prioritizing that sense. Haraji Mata, Haraji Pita. God is my mother, God is my father. It's a commitment. Khalsa is my true beauty. Khalsa is an unwavering and close partner. Khalsa is my caste and creed. So that takes us back to that sense. There's a Khalsa nation. Because of Khalsa, I was born. Let's go back to that day, Baisakhi day. So 5 came forward, gave their heads. They went through this ceremony or ritual of creating the Amrit nectar, participating of that, drinking that in. And then Guru Gobind Singh himself, even he wasn't Singh at that time, he was Guru Gobind. He named each of them Singh, lion, and then he kneeled himself in front of these 5 and said, now please give me this same baptism. So he was Guru. 5 of his disciples then became Guru, Panch Pyare, the 5 beloved, and then he has now become their disciple. So he himself then became Singh. So he's saying, another me was born through Khalsa. Something miraculous has happened here, some leap of evolution, really, into another quality of being. I'm born through Khalsa. Yeah. Khalsa is my world treasure. Because of the Khalsa, I have respect. Khalsa is my close family. Khalsa grants me favors. Khalsa is my body and soul. Khalsa is my breath of life. You might remember I've mentioned Sangat is my breath and my breath is my Sangat. So Khalsa is my breath of life. Honor and glory accompany my Khalsa. Khalsa is my real interest. Khalsa maintains my mission. Khalsa is my body and breath, my dharma. Khalsa is my dharma and action. Khalsa is my secret ingredient. Khalsa is my complete true guru. Khalsa is my fearless partner. Khalsa is my wisdom and knowledge. Khalsa is always in my thoughts. Praise to the casteless Khalsa. Casteless. Okay? There's only one caste in this Khalsa. They keep to their word. At all times, they exercise mental control. Then they are truly deserving. I have not told you even a little lie. Perfect Saint Guru Nanak is my witness. Now, this is interesting. 10th Guru is bringing in something extraordinary. We know from the studies some of you have done how that quality of the 10 and the 1 is outside of the 0. It's like it's extra, it's beyond, it's radical, it's way out there. But still, he anchors back to Nanak. So I think this is very important. Perfect Saint Nanak is my witness. If all my pores could speak, with all I would sing Khalsa. You might remember a line in the Japji. If one tongue would come 1,000 tongues, if each of these tongues would recite the Naam hundreds of thousands of times, yeah? And then this is another reference to that. Anga Sangha Vaheguru, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. If every cell could speak, it would say Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. I belong to the Khalsa. Khalsa belongs to me. In the wild sea, these are references we can easily link back. Yeah, when we chant the Rakhe Rakhanhara, we're saying Sadha Janake Sang Bhav Jal Tarian, the scary, wild ocean of Maya, of time and space. In the Sangat, I cross that ocean. Yeah. So in the wild sea, the Khalsa provides shelter. Khalsa is God's army and was created by God's will. While the Khalsa stays true, I will offer my full support. When they follow the ways of others, I withdraw my assistance from them. This is a very critical line. There's another line I'm reminded of. Rehit pyare, mohe ko sikh pyare nahi. I love the Rehit. Rehit means a way of life. I love the code of conduct, not the Sikh. Okay, very interesting, because let's say I don't live the code of conduct perfectly, but I pass it on to you. I don't corrupt it. I'm telling you what my teacher told to me, right? What my elders and the wise elders have passed on to me. And I've struggled to live it, but I'm giving it to you. The legacy is intact. You might live it 10 times better than me and pass it on to somebody else. So the Guru is loving this Rehid. It's called code of conduct, yeah? More than even the disciple who may or may not be living it well or not well. This is a very interesting and critical point. Okay. This is from a few more lines to go in the Bhachatar Natak, Narrative of the Divine Mission. A few extracts. Khalsa was manifested in the world, and the wheel of Dharma began to turn. The timeless one, Akal Purakh, issued the command, and the Khalsa Panth was established as the path of Dharma. To preserve the Dharma, to preserve the Dharma, Khalsa Panth was set in motion and corrupt ways were erased. When the Khalsa advanced the Dharma, then Khalsa crushed the tyrants. And this is the story where the Mughal Empire was being a very brutal rulership over India at that time. And the contribution Guru Gobind Singh made to transform that, to liberate India from this tyranny. Okay, this is just a repetition. We might add something like the Japsab, very much expressing Khalsa consciousness as well, the non-alignment with anything other than the one, and then the multiple subtle descriptions of the indescribable one. There's a reference, some of you may know, Brahm Kavach, and it's referring actually to something that Hargobind said in the same. Hargobind is speaking to the Khalsa warriors, already the sixth Guru, referring to his Sikhs and calling them Khalsa warriors, Khalsa Veer. Nand Lal was a close disciple of Guru Gobind Singh at the time. He was one of the poets, 52 poets in the court of Guru Gobind Singh. And he was one of the first ones to put in writing this Rahit Maryada, the way of living in the remembrance of death, Jivan Mukta. And so he wrote this in a composition called Tankana. Khalsa is one who does not slander. I'm highlighting this in another sense, I feel, in the background, because over many, many years, I've been in many meetings, and this question keeps up. Who are we? Who is the Khalsa? What is our purpose? And so on. It kind of surprises me because it has been written over and over again and shared over and over again. And it's not difficult to actually do a little bit of research and find out what Guru Gobind Singh was telling and what were the Khalsa people at that time understanding. So this is the Nand Lal's understanding from his Guru, Guru Gobind Singh. Khalsa is one who does not slander others. Khalsa is one who fights on the front line. This is confrontation rather than conflict. Khalsa is one who conquers the 5 passions. Khalsa is one who fulfills all the duties. Khalsa is one who renounces self-pride. Khalsa is one who remains faithful within the marriage. Khalsa is one who abandons the sexual desire for others other than their partner. Khalsa is one who's blessed with Naam. Khalsa is one who loves Vaheguru. Khalsa is one who fights bravely in the battle. And remember, this implies also, if we study the Shavaguru, the first battle is a battle within ourselves, and then that may then manifest in the world around us. Khalsa is one who helps the needy, and that's also a battle in the way. Khalsa is one who overpowers the enemy, first meaning the 5 thieves in ourselves. Khalsa is one who chants the Naam. Khalsa is the one who rises above the evil ones, meaning again that 5 thieves in your own self. Khalsa is one who's in tune with the Naam. Khalsa is one who breaks false rituals. Khalsa is one who becomes a crusader. Khalsa is one who fights the war daily against internal and external enemies. Khalsa is one who always ready with weapons. Khalsa is one who destroys all evil. And your first weapon is your Navi and your breath and your mantra. And the next weapon is your Sangat. And the final weapon is Guru and God. At the end of the Ardas, we recite this passage, Raj Kare Khalsa Aake Rahe Na Koi. And so some people say it's by Guru Gobind Singh, but it's found in that Rahit Nama that we just spoke of Nand Lal, meaning the Khalsa will reign and there will remain no non-believers. Okay, Aki is meaning the non-believer. There's a little bit of politics here. Khalsa meaning pure, although there was a reference earlier in the Arabic of unsullied, and unalloyed, but it was not literally meaning pure. And so some Sikhs say, scholars saying, the Sikhs wanting to be close to the British rule said they didn't want to say that the Sikhs, Khalsa is those who are not answerable to any other authority. The British wouldn't like that, would they? So that wasn't going to be said. So they, in order not to appear disloyal to the rulers of the time, they said Khalsa means pure, which it partly does in a slightly indirect way. So it was not exactly a lie, but it was not the whole truth. Interesting to note that. This is a comment you can reflect on for yourself. Khalsa does not and should not believe in any section of humanity being pure, and as opposed to others being impure. This is potentially a Brahmanic, priestly, elitist kind of thinking. We are pure and others are not. We're going to do a discussion soon as we finish up. We're nearly done. It's not part of any Bani or scripture. It exists in this Rahit Nama. Some people question it. Can't put any opinion on that at the moment. Okay, just leave it at that for now. There's a number of lovely lectures if you look up on the Library of Teachings from Sri Singh Sahib Harbhajan Singh Khalsa Yogi Ji and about Khalsa. My immediate reference here is a beautiful book of poetry that was written. He wrote, Furman Khalsa. God manifested himself in this age of steel as Khalsa. The entire Khalsa is God's very image. And another poem, the test of the Khalsa is to live the Rahit. And that takes us back to what Guru Gobind Singh saying, I love the Rahit more than I love even the Sikh. Test of the Khalsa is to live the Rahit. The Amrit of the Khalsa is our divine protection. We've got many other references to Khalsa today. Khalsa Spirit, Khalsa Council, Khalsa websites, Khalsa Army, Khalsa Panth, Sarbat Khalsa, and there's a number of humanitarian projects also going under the name of Khalsa. And I believe some people even run their businesses as Khalsa. And some people take surname of Khalsa. When they have taken the Amrit, the baptism, they take that name, Khalsa. Okay. Many things can be gone into detail. That I'm going to leave for discussion and see whether we elaborate or expand, because I've given enough of a speech here. Some more references of Sikh scholars on Khalsa. Then the Ryan Shabad, Yogi Bhajan gave an interesting comment about that link to Khalsa consciousness. Why number 5 connected to the Panchpyari and the Khalsa nation. More examples of Brahmgyani description, Gurumukh description, and poetry from Furman Khalsa, other resources. So